that certain people can't even be around you because your energy is so strong. Vibrate so high that anybody that's wishing to do evil upon you, it shall be revealed. Vibrate so high that any evil entity feels uncomfortable in your presence.
Yo. Yeah. Everything straight. We're waiting on you. All right. Say less. I got you.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Cross, Boss Cross, Big CEO Across Your Heart, man. Hey, man, you tapped into the Plug Podcast. I am him, he is me. So let's check this out, man. It's been crazy. It just dropped. Fat Joe has got some stuff that he's revealing, and he was breaking it down. He was around a bunch of NASDAQ guys, and he said that the music industry is like a Ponzi scheme. He talked about a lot of stuff. Talked about having independence, having your own thing, not having to worry about somebody putting the fate of your whole career in their hand. So he dropped some really good gems in here, man. And I want to see what y'all think, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, and y'all tell me what you think. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's see what Fat Joe has to say.
I said the other day we was in an interview with NASDAQ and Forbes, and they was asking me about business and, all my accomplishments. It's crazy. They got my net worth at $4 million when I go in there and shit. I got to watch $4 million. They got me up, but it's cool. Let's fly under the radar. But Forbes said, Joe, come through. Let's talk about business. Well, in the business, they asked me independent or major. And I said the major labels, the major record labels are a Ponzi scheme.
Wow, and that's crazy for Fat Joe to come out and say that. And says basically that. Now, he's going to elaborate a little bit more, but just for Fat Joe saying that, he's putting it out there as far as this whole thing when it comes to these kids or impressionable or any artist that's impressionable. He's going to break it down.
What does that mean, Joe? It means that when you, as smart as me, and you've been around long enough as me, you realize that it's just like a bank. Most of the time, they take a kid, they grew up in the projects, baby, that's talented. You look at all of us. I think the only guy who had a good upbringing that got signed was Chance the Rapper. It's probably the only guy who they finagled his way in the system.
That's crazy for him to say that about Chance. I guess Chance must have came up in a good home, which is crazy. But isn't that crazy how he's breaking it down, him being in the industry, saying who they target and, and what demographics they target. So that's interesting to know that. I mean, especially we all kind of figure that, but for him to say that, especially this time and day.
But other than that, everybody was broke. Everybody's a project baby, right? Looking for their way out. And so here you go. They give you money up to make your album or whatever. They charge you, though they make the profit of the records, they charge you whatever they spend on the video. It ain't like we 50-50 partners. They pay half of the video, we pay half of it. Look, at the end of the day, the math, you could bring a scientist who wins the Nobel Peace Prize to do the accounting on major labels math, and they always can't figure it out.
That's crazy. Think about what he's saying. You can bring the smartest person, like, what they call out there in the industry, the books are cooked. I mean, he said, man, you couldn't even find it. I mean, you got some bad people that know how to play with numbers.
And so it's robbery all the way through. And you sing your life, your pain, your this, that, and they own your shit. So that's why I say it's a Ponzi scheme. I sold 2 million records, still ain't recoup. I have an album, Jose sold 2 million records. When I get my statement from the major label 20 years later, I still owe them money.
That's crazy. And y'all need to listen to this because that's crazy. He sold 2 million records. And then he got his statement and he owes them the money. All to sit down, you coming up with the lyrics, They putting all the hours in there. You're going around doing the promo. You're trying to push it. You're thinking, oh man, this is it. This is it. And then you selling it, you're celebrating. And the next thing you know, you get an invoice of money that you got to pay back, which now you're in debt and you don't even, and now you don't own anything because you're behind. You're behind the 8 ball at this point.
I put out an album independently on Empire and get distribution. My album might sell 250, 300,000 records. I make millions of dollars off of it.
Listen to what he's saying, guys. He's saying you can go from there, but you can go in independently. And again, people are looking at perception of numbers. So you look at it, now all of a sudden he's saying, if I do it independently, I sell 300,000 copies. I make millions of dollars. Versus if I go through here and they do 2 million records, I end up owing money.
What's the difference? You know, I used to walk. I'm going to tell you this story. I don't know if I told you it before, but I used to walk in Atlantic Records and they had a poster of me 6 stories high. Like it was one of them big lobbies where it's just like 6 floors. You take the elevator up. So every day I walk in, they had a poster of me like that. And I'm selling millions of records. I got these 2 stories in one. And so I'm going up there every day, hanging out with the owner of the company, the boss. Not the owner, the boss, the president, CEO, whatever, hanging with him, thinking he's my man.
And that's another, see how he's saying? It goes right just like that. He's thinking he's his man. He's going up there. They got this big, gigantic perception, guys. The big, gigantic, with your face on there, man, I finally made it. You're allowed to go up there. You're talking. You in his office. Oh, man, he's laughing with you, talking all this good stuff. Thinking the whole time that, man, he's really genuine. But again, man, this is the industry, it's the business.
Because he's the first person who gave me a multi-million-dollar check, so I trust him, right? So mind you, this guy gasses me to drop an album in December, which is the 4th quarter. The day I dropped my album, Jay-Z, Mariah Carey, Missy Elliott, and a bunch of other guys was dropping their album at the same time. So I kept telling them, yo, you sure that we should drop the same day? We're going to lose. Now,
sitting there, he's thinking, again, logically, as anybody thinking like, man, all these big names, you talking about Jay-Z, everybody's about to drop. Why would you have me? Now, listen, he gave $1 million for him to trust him. Now he's telling him, hey, man, trust me, man, drop it. It don't make sense. You're going to lose. It's like he did it to get his money back or for you to, you know, end up owing.
We're going to drop it. We got your back. We got your back. Are you sure that we're going to drop? Because I feel like we're going to lose. We're going up against Jay-Z, Mariah Carey, Missy Elliott, you name it. So we put the album out. The album flopped. It sold 500,000.
Of course it's going to flop. I mean, you in competition, and it's the 4th quarter where people are trying to recoup money. So really, he kind of used him as kind of what it seemed like a write-off. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew, I got to get rid of this money. I got to make sure I got to take a loss. In this
records, before. So, and I was wondering why this man made me drop an album on the day that he knew I was going to lose.
That's got to be cold. So what do y'all think so far, man? That's crazy. So like, you know, I mean, Fat Joe's breaking this down. And this is for all the people that's wanting or thinking about going in that direction. You know what I'm saying? Hungry. Like he said, he targeted people, low income, people that really don't understand the law and the business because they just trying to make a way out. You see what I'm saying? And it's sad and unfortunate. And you see this a lot in all of the industry. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times vulnerability and things of that nature.
Later, I found out that at that time when they used to sell physical CDs, you had to go to the store and buy that. It wasn't streaming sales. That Atlantic Records had shipped 2 million CDs to the stores that were non-refundable. So even though I only sold 500,000, even though I was a failure and I sold 1.5 million less than the album before, they hadn't made their money off of 2 million albums. So,
wow. So those were non-refundable. So it made it look like to him, he done lost, but really he sold 2 million because it's basically like, okay, you want a Fat Joe CD, you got to buy them. So they basically prepaid for 2 million because they non-refundable. They had to do something with them.
According to them on the books, he's selling his boss, Fat Joe, sold 2 million albums.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I don't get paid because they shipped 2 million. I don't see none of the results to this day. I'm still unrecouped. If you understand what I'm saying to you, let me see some fire signs. Or if I'm talking too fast or I'm talking too deep and you don't get it, I could jump subject. But I go there, my poster 6th floor. One day I go there, they got a T.I. poster, 6th floor. They take my shit off. So I go up there and they say, Joe, T.I. just sold 2 million. You sold 500,000. You're a failure.
Wow. So just imagine you go from going up in there, you seeing your poster up there on a 2-story building, you're going in there hanging out with the owner, and then all of a sudden, boom, the next artist comes. It could be any artist. Artist comes, next thing you know, boom, their name's on there. And you're walking up like, I didn't get the memo. Like, what's going on here?
That didn't sit well with me. Because in order to be successful, you got to be a narcissist. You got to be delusional. You got to believe in yourself like nobody else believes in you.
Right.
Right? So I go home that night. I can't sleep. I'm thinking. I go back. Next day, I have a meeting with them. I say, hey, listen, man, you're right. I am a failure. I'm going to leave and be the old school at noon. I'm going to go underground. You'll never hear from me again. They were like, sure. Like they were doing me the biggest favor.
Yeah, see, and that's usually how people do. They're like, oh, man, you know what? We understand, man. You can't really, you know what I'm saying? This ain't for you. Maybe you can come back. You know, we can still, we're good. They want to wipe their hands because you got to think about it. Not only did they make 2 million, then they haven't paid him, and now he owes them. So when they walk away, they don't expect him to do anything.
I was doing them a favor. They let me go off the label. I go independent. I sell 4 million records with Make It Rain. The album goes gold, but this time it's independent. I make $7 a record. I make $3.5 million off of that.
Y'all hearing the math? He's breaking it down. So he went from there owing, and then he does independent selling at $7 a record. He ended up making almost $3.5 million.
So you're going to sit here and ask me why I think going independent is better than being on a major label? That money don't add up. If I was to give you 10 fake phones and tell you to sell them for $10 outside in the rain and snow, but you sell it for $10 and you only make 10 cents, you built the phone, you put the information in it, you put your heart, sweat and tears, your pain, and you only get 10 cents?
That's a fact. Just imagine you did all this. You made the creation. You created this character. You know what I'm saying? And you got the raps, you have the content, you have everything. And you selling each one of them for $10, but you only get 10 cents. And the person who says, hey, I'll be, you know, I'll co-sign for you, they're making $9.90 off you.
So that's why I said major labels are Ponzi scheme. Now, do I have friends and everybody that works for the labels and all that? I'm not trying to stop y'all money. You know I love y'all. I want y'all to keep working. But they asked me, what is the difference between independent and major? Independent is much harder to jump off a career. But you know what they do anyway? Let me tell you what the major labels do, and I'm going to get off this, right? Major labels watch who's hot all over the country.
Don't forget that. And that's for anybody, YouTube creators, anything. You know what I'm saying? These people sit around and they watch the content that we put out. They're either looking for the content to monitor, to see how we do it, what draws people to us, all that stuff, man. So don't never get it twisted.
So say, I don't want to use her. Say somebody gets hot in Memphis. The major labels see that they're playing their music down there, and people buying their music. They go down there and offer them a check. It's not like the major label made you hot. It's not like they helped you create the song or got you hot.
That's right, because you already blowing up. See, and this is the thing that we understand. We don't invest in the true talent that's around us. So just imagine, you got your whole neighborhood and they singing your song, everybody in your demographic sing the song. They come down and they see it. They say, oh, here's a bag. Here you go, man. We're going to give you a bag for that. It's not like they're doing you no favor. You put in the work, like he's saying, and you made yourself. You promoted yourself when you didn't have any money, when you just blood, sweat, and tears, just getting it up, like they say, out the mud.
You're already hot. You about to bust open. They know it, so they come down there and act like they're your friend and give you a check. Now they own all your shit, and you're a slave to the system. Peter Gunn, sorry about your moms, man. God bless.
Yeah, man. So, you know, what y'all think about that? Was Fat Joe on to something, man? I think he dropped some gems in there, man. Like you said, again, he talked about how, you know, going independent helps you out more because at the end of the day, you don't end up owing anybody. And really, to me, it shows how much are you willing to grind for what you believe in. And like he said, one, you got to be a narcissist because you got to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. And that's one of the things that we got to start getting into. Believing in yourself, man. You can do anything possible. You know what I'm saying? Through God. So, and if you believe in yourself, you convince yourself you can do it. It's too many opportunities in the world, man, for anybody to take advantage of this. So I give my strongest advice. Hey, man, ain't nothing like trying to learn how to be a professional yourself. Put in the hours, put in the time, because the last thing you want is for somebody else to tell you what your worth is. And like he said, he had to go home and deal with it. But then he realized as he got older, it had nothing to do with that. It was all the game. And he realized that. So, you know, take the advice, you know, from, like they say, from the OG. Shout out to Fat Joe for dropping some gems and some game. Y'all tell me what you think, man. Is he right? Are we putting our too much faith in somebody else, you know, when we can try to make it happen, especially if we know what we're doing? And like he said, he was in a position where he knew that dropping that album was going to make him old. And then he was like, but then again, he said the word trust. You know what I'm saying? So start trusting in yourself. Have, you know, figuring yourself out. And don't let nobody else tell you where your goal is because you already saw it. So you need to follow it and stick to it. And on that note, holler at your boy. You've been plugged in with the Plug Podcast. Peace.